surrounded by trees, located in the most touristic district of Athens, in Plaka, emerges proud the Church of St. Catherine, sheltering the history of 10+ centuries. According to Travlos, the Church of St. Catherine was built on ruins of an early Christian basilica, and, in fact, he holds that the Roman-era columns which are preserved in the courtyard formed the atrium of the then church. Prior to the original early Christian church, on the site pre-existed an ancient pagan sanctuary to the honor of goddess Artemis. The core of the present church, at the junction of Cherefondos, Lysikratis, Galenou and Gura streets, was erected in the middle of the 11th century, and originally it was dedicated to Saint Theodores. In the 18th century it was conceded, with the consent of the Metropolitan of Athens Bartholomew, to the Mount Sinai Monastery, and ever since it is honored in the name of St. Catherine, despite that St. Catherine's Church had been included among the monasteries which had to be dissolved by virtue of a decree of 1834. Until 1839, it was in the possession of the Sinai Fathers and functioned as a dependency of the monastery of St. Catherine of Siena. Yet, following a petition of the parishioners of the proximal area, as also the consenting opinion of the Metropolitan of Athens and the municipality, St. Catherine was converted from a Catholicon of the dependency to a parish church. The condition of the church, either owing to the damage it had sustained during the course of the 1821 revolution, or owing to the earthquake of 1837, had been nothing but sound, and hence the execution of restoration works was judged as necessary. The works were completed with the economic contribution, as well as the volunteer personal work of the parishioners themselves, among them also General Macrigenis, who resided in proximity to the church and was a parishioner of St. Catherine. The original Byzantine church of the 11th century, typologically, fell within the cross in square inscribed complex 4-column churches. Yet, in the course of following years, the original shape of the church changed to a large degree. As witnessed by a photograph of the era, initially, at the end of the western cross arm, there was a single light bell tower, which existed up to and including the year 1870. Subsequently, the church was extended with the addition of an ambulatory around the original Byzantine core of the church, resulting in reamings in the original Byzantine masonries of the northern, southern, and western exterior surface of the church. Also, the construction of the ambulatory necessitated also the transport of the bell tower from the western arm of the original church to the southwestern corner of the ambulatory. The original Byzantine Athenian dome has not been preserved. The dome that the visitor beholds today is significantly taller and more voluminous in relation to the original. It is dated between the years 1917 and 1927 and is constructed from 6 fired bricks, which at the upper part of the dome are positioned cuneately, and from the middle of its height and below they are positioned with alternating vertical and horizontal layers. Externally, at the eastern side, the holy bema ends into 3 cloison apses, of which the right and the left bear a single light window each, while the middle apse has 3 continuous single light apsidal cloison windows. At some points, such as at the southern cross arm, the masonry of the Byzantine phase of the church is visible, as well as the Kufic ornaments which survive until this day. Visible is also the mixed stone work at the lower part of the conch of the sanctuary, which manifests differences in relation to the residual church and probably belongs to a previous building phase of the church. In particular, within the rectangulated stones, in many cases, there do not intermediate continuous horizontal brick rows, while in the vertical joints intermediate 2 rows of horizontally positioned bricks. At the 2 interior eastern columns, 2 early Christian capitals are preserved. The church is triune, with the right chapel being honored to the memory of Saint Anthony, and the left being dedicated to Saint Sophia and to her 3 daughters. The holy altars of the church and of the chapels are comprised of marble slabs on ancient architectural members, while at the drum of the column of the holy altar of the sanctuary an inscription is also preserved. Noteworthy are the portable icons decorating the church, such as the one of St. John the Baptist of the 15th century, work of the Cretan school, and the icon of St. Spiridon of the 18th century, work of the Eptanesian style. Also, the icon of St. Catherine stands out at the right marble shrine, which is dated from the 17th century. The silver vesture of the 6 icons of the Templon is a work of the best silversmithing houses of the city of Athens, while the religious painting of the church was implemented in the 19th century by Carphis or Kafetsidakis.